Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope that you're all well and trying to survive this British summer. It's hot as hell today. This whole weekend has been hot. This past week has been really hot and I'm not a fan of summer. Not when the weather's like almost 30 degrees. I can't deal with it. I'm more of like a autumn, spring, winter kind of person. Summer sometimes just gets a bit too much for me, so I've literally been fanning myself down for the last 15 minutes because it's just hot. But yeah, welcome back, and I'm going to get straight into this video just because I think it's going to be a bit of a long one and I don't want to talk too much. So yeah, as you can tell by the title, it's going to be about 25 lessons I've learnt at 25 years old. Now, I'm going to be 26 this year, and I just find myself at a place where I'm reflecting a lot on certain situations I've been in, certain challenges, and what I've learned from them, and just how much I've grown as an individual. And I felt inspired to do this video, so that's why we're here. Some of the stuff is going to tie into one another, so if it sounds like I'm talking about the same thing or similar, it probably is. But it's hard to think of 25 lessons, you know. I mean, majority of the stuff I have genuinely learned, or all of it I've genuinely learned, but it's funny how some things do actually tie into each other regardless. So yeah, let's get into it. So number one, oh, this isn't in order by the way, I've just put them in random order, but there are a few things that do stand out to me as like the top 5, so I think I'll say that at the end of the video. So yeah, number one, not everyone has the same intentions as you. Now, this is something I learned a couple years ago, actually. I feel like you go through life thinking with a very innocent perception of people. When you're younger, you think that everyone has good intentions. Well, I did. I can't speak for everybody else, but I went around thinking people had good intentions, like no one is purposefully evil, or purposefully, is that a word? No one is intentionally evil or has bad intentions. Like, I genuinely used to think that. But then you enter the real world and you realise there are people with bad intentions, 100%. And it was quite a shock for me because I didn't really know how to deal with it at the time. I'm obviously not going to get into how I learnt that lesson, but yeah, when you are exposed to different personalities and different people in general, and you haven't actually been exposed to different people like that, so in the working environment, for example, versus being in school, like it's two different environments. So when you go into that situation, you don't really realise like the kind of people you might come across, and you just think everybody has good intentions and no one's gonna treat you a certain way, or no one's gonna intentionally do something. I swear like purposefully is a word. Anyways, I'm gonna have to Google it. Purposely, is it purposely? Yeah, let me just stop embarrassing myself. Yeah, that was a big lesson for me, and it made me approach certain situations differently and just be more aware that if something goes wrong, or if somebody does something that you don't approve of or you don't think is correct, don't be surprised, because that person isn't going to enter that situation with the same intentions as you are, or they're not going to deal with it in the same way that you are, and that's okay. Number 2, not everyone will like you. Again, this is one that I learned actually a long time ago. I learned it a long time ago, and it was a hard one for me to accept because, again, I went through life thinking, not even thinking, like, I know I'm a nice person. I'm not going to deny that. I've always thought I'm a nice person. I'm not horrible. I'm friendly and stuff like that. So if somebody doesn't like me, what reason would they have to not like me? I never used to understand that, and it used to really get to me because it's like, I've not done anything to you. And this goes back to school now. There were certain people in secondary school who, or even primary school, that I know just didn't like me, but it's only when I look back at that time, no, not even when I look back at it, at that time I realised that this person didn't like me, and it used to really bug me, like, why don't you like me? Why don't you like me? I didn't understand it because I was a nice person, and that person didn't actually know me on a level, so for them to not like me, it was just weird. But when I look at myself, there's definitely people that I can think of who I know I didn't like from the get-go, or I still don't like because of the energy I get, the vibe I get from them. So it's completely normal. They might not have a valid reason as to not liking you, but it's just how it is. People are people. Yeah, that's all I can say on that one. Number 3, life is not a race. Again, like I said, I'm at a point in my life where I feel like I'm reflecting a lot on how much I've grown, where I am. I'm going to be 26 this year. And you know, when you were younger, you think, oh, when I'm 25, and it's always 25, when I'm 25, I'm going to have my own house, I'm going to be married, I'm going to be doing this and that. Lol, no. That's not how it's turned out for me. And it's just funny because I look back at that time and I'm like, if only you knew what you know now back then. But that's the whole point of growing up and learning stuff. You realize things aren't always as simple as they seem or as easy as you want them to be. And life is a journey. Like, it's not gonna happen just like that. You have to give yourself time, and it's not a race. You can't compare yourself to somebody who is also 25, for example, or 21, and what they've achieved at that age. Like, you're on your own path and you can't compare yourself to other people, which actually ties into my next point, which is number 4. Nothing in life comes easy. You have to work hard for what you want. And I'll be honest, I'm a very lazy person. I'm so lazy, and for me to really put in hard work for something, I have to really force myself. I'm not naturally a hard worker, and that's something I'm not very proud of, but it's real stuff. Like, I'm not gonna lie about it. And I've realized that you do have to really work hard for what you want in life. It's not just gonna come to you, unless you're born into wealth or born into some sort of, I don't know, accomplished family, or you know, people that are going to help you get to where you want, or you've got those advantages. You're going to have to work hard for it, and it's going to be rewarding. It is. And I'm still trying to discipline myself and tell myself, look, whatever you want in life, you need to really work for it and push yourself. I've managed to master that in like my career path I'm in at the moment, but when it comes to like physically, no, I'm still lazy as hell. I need to work out, change my lifestyle, and actually make it a lifestyle and not just think it's a temporary thing. So yeah, it doesn't come easy. You have to work hard. And number 5, people come and go. People come and go. There are people I look at who were in my life at a certain point that are no longer there, and I'm like, for a long time it used to make me feel sad that those people weren't there anymore. But I've come to the acceptance that those people were in my life purely for that period of time, and I learned what I learned from them. I had the best time with them, and we just went our separate ways. And sometimes that just happens, but I'm lucky enough to have the people that are still in my life that I cherish and appreciate so much. It's okay for people to come and go. Just try and understand or figure out, what have you learned from that relationship. Did that relationship serve you anything in the first place? Like, what purpose did it serve you? And if it didn't, then you know that it wasn't meant to be. So, and I don't mean relationships as in like boyfriend and girlfriend or whatever. I mean as in friendships as well. Yeah, people come and go. Number 6. I'm only on number 6. This is going to be a long ass video. Wow. It's okay not to have it it's okay not to have it figured out yet. Again, this goes back to when you're younger and you thought at a certain point in your life, happens to be 25 for a lot of us. Oh yes, the lighting is better, that's good. You seem to think that I need to know what I want to do in my life. I need to know everything. I need to have this plan. Some people don't, and that's okay. I was definitely one of those people who struggled for a long time with what career path I was going to go down. And I felt this pressure because it seemed like everyone else around me knew what they wanted to do, and they were making things happen, and I was just there like, what am I going to do? Am I going to have to settle for something I don't want to do? I studied law, and my biggest fear was going into law as a career, purely because I had nothing else I could think of that I wanted to do. Luckily, the law isn't the career that I'm in, which makes me very happy. But again, it's okay to not have it figured out at the point where everybody else does, because some life experiences are gonna show you what you want to do, and encourage you or give you inspiration as to what you feel like you want to do as a career, or where you want your life to go. It doesn't just have to be a career, but just what you want to achieve in life in general. That comes with time and life experiences, and I can definitely tell you that from experience. Number 7, trust in the timings of your life. My mum always used to tell me, Shamila, there is time for everything. You don't need to rush into anything, just take your time. And at the time I never used to fully understand it, because I used to think, yeah, but everybody else is doing it, so why can't I? And you know what, I look back at that time and I think to myself, I'm so glad that I waited to do certain things, or I'm so glad that I didn't rush into wanting to get stuff done so quickly. Like, there is actually time for stuff, and it makes me appreciate those things even more, because I did take the time to do those things I wanted to do. So just be aware that because everybody else is doing something doesn't mean you have to as well. It's okay to be the odd one out. It actually is. And peer pressure is a real thing. I'm not saying I personally experienced peer pressure. I feel quite fortunate that I never had friends that tried to force me into doing anything. But sometimes naturally peer pressure can come about just from knowing your friends are doing something and you're not. But you need to take a step back, reevaluate what's going on, or reevaluate that thing you're thinking about, and just ask yourself, is it worth going down that road just yet? Like, can I wait? And if you can wait, just wait. Seriously, it's not that deep. There's no need to rush into anything, because there's time. Number 8, it's okay to take risks. Now, I'm a very cautious person. I don't feel like I'm a big risk taker. So when it comes to certain things in life that I feel like, oh, I've held myself back because it's too risky, I feel like now I'm actually able to take risks more, because I've realised how much holding yourself back can just limit you. Again, I'm 25 years old and I've only just realised this lesson. Within the last year, I would say, I feel like I finally decided, okay, I'm going to take a risk with this, I'm going to take a risk with that, and see where it takes me. And it's been rewarding every time. Obviously, don't be stupid. Don't be doing stupidness and putting yourself in situations that are actually going to, like, you know, risk your life or something crazy like that. But I mean sensible things that you feel like, I really want to do that, but I'm too scared because it's too risky. You might surprise yourself. So just take that leap of faith and just go for it. But yeah, be sensible, please, for the love of God. Number 9, stepping out of your comfort zone will help you grow. So again, this leads into my previous point. Well, this carries on from my previous point. I'm not the most confident person, and I'm quite reserved and quite shy, and I like to stay in my shell. I like to be comfortable. I don't like to, you know, step outside of my comfort zone. And again, it's only recently where I've realised how much it helps me develop when I do step out my comfort zone. For example, presentations. I absolutely despise them. They make me feel uncomfortable. I start to stumble upon my words. I choke up. Like, my voice gets shaky. And yeah, it's just not a fun experience for me. It causes me great anxiety. But I got to a point where I thought, you know what, I'm sick of feeling like this. I'm sick of being scared to do presentations. I want to get out of this. And it is purposely, oh my God, idiot. I purposely asked my one of my colleagues that I worked with if I could go on a presentation course, because I really wanted to just get out of this comfort zone, out of this fear of presenting, and step out of my comfort zone a bit more. And she put me onto it. It came to the day, and when I tell you, I was so scared. I'd never been so terrified in my life. And I kept thinking to myself, you purposely put yourself in this situation. Do you realise that? You wanted to get out of your comfort zone, conquer something you were scared of doing, and you've done it. It was a full day course of having to prepare a 5-minute presentation and stand up and talk in front of people, and you did that twice, by the way, and having to analyse your performance, having to think of what causes you to be scared of presenting and tackling that. So it was exposing to me, and like I said, I was petrified the whole time. My anxiety was on another level on that day. I was just so scared. But you know what? I felt so proud of myself afterwards, because I actually did it. The old me would have wouldn't even gone to the course. Like, I wouldn't even have attended. I would have made up some excuse that I was ill or something, but I went. And I stayed there the whole day and I did it. And it was the most fulfilling thing that I felt. And it was, I kid you not, from that day on, I felt like, do you know what? I'm going to continue to step out my comfort zone, push myself and do things that are going to help me grow. Because as much as I might still dislike presentations, I'm a lot better than I was before. And now I just push myself through it. I don't run away from them like I used to. But yeah, that's just an example. Number 10, you can't control everything. Listen, if you go through life thinking you can control every situation around you or other people, you're going to be very disappointed. You need to learn how to adapt, because there's certain situations that life is just going to throw at you that you are not going to be able to control, and you need to be able to take that. Obviously, you don't know when it's going to happen, so I think it's just a matter of being aware or just being prepared for life shifting in a way that you might not expect it to. And it's okay. I think how you handle that situation says more than thinking you can control it, and just having that mentality of, it's fine, I'm going to sort this out, I'm going to control it. Well, no, it doesn't always work like that, unfortunately. So I think that's a big lesson that I've learned, is it's not up, sometimes it's just not up to me and it's out of my control. Live in the moment. Again, this is something that I learned recently, and it was actually a book that I read that helped me to really put this into practice, and it's The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And oh my goodness, that book genuinely changed my life. It helps you just put things into perspective a bit more and realize that what happened yesterday or what happened in the past or what's gonna happen does not matter, because what matters is the moment you're in right now. And when you're constantly thinking of things that aren't relevant to the situation that you're in right now, it takes away joy from that moment. So you could be sat there with your family, but in the back of your mind you're thinking about stuff that you're stressing about, or you're thinking about the past or something that happened or what the future's gonna hold, but you can't fully embrace today. You can't fully embrace where you're at right now. And what if tomorrow doesn't come? I know it sounds cliche, but these are the things you have to think about. Tomorrow is not promised. Life is too short, and I feel like we're constantly reminded of that, especially this year. Oh my goodness, 2020 has just been a mess, but putting that aside, we're constantly reminded that life is short. So why would you focus so much on things that haven't even happened yet or have already happened that you can't control? Again, going back to, you can't control everything. So focus on the now, and I feel like I embrace the moment a lot more now. And I love that, and it just makes me appreciate and just realize just how happy I am. Yeah, I hope other people can relate to that. Actually, that's a serious one for me. And another one that's, I say this all the time, for those who know me well will know that this is literally my life quote. If I had tattoos, I would get this tattooed on myself. I really would. And that's, everything happens for a reason. I can't express this enough. Everything happens for a reason. I don't care what you say, it does. Whether you know what that reason is or not, there's a reason behind it. And sometimes it's not for us to even know. Like, I genuinely believe sometimes it's not for us to know, especially not in that moment. It's only when you look back and you think, okay, this is why this happened. And I'm telling you, I have found a lot of peace in knowing that. When I look back at certain situations and what's happened and what I learned from that, it makes me think, okay, I get why this happened and why it happened at that point and what I learned from that and just what it taught me. Same thing as what you learned from it. But yeah, I just believe it. I just genuinely believe everything happens for a reason, and whether we know what that reason is or not, there's something behind it, and it will come clear to you one day. I promise you. Next one, true happiness comes from within. You can't go through life expecting other people to make you happy. You have to learn how to be happy within yourself in order to have true happiness. Because when you take everything away, when you take away friends, family, everything, and the little factors that make you happy in your life, those aren't the things that you should depend on. I feel like it's so important to just be content within yourself, be happy within yourself, and learn how to find that happiness if you're not already there. And that could be things of just taking time out from everything else. Take time out from social media, being around people, just have some me time. I'm a big advocate of having me time because I think it genuinely helps you discover who you are, what you like, what you dislike, and just become one within yourself as well. It's so important to find happiness within you, because when it's all said and done, and when everything is taken away from you, what's left is you. So you've got to learn how to be okay with that and how to be content with it as well. Again, that comes with time. I'm not fully there myself. I'm still learning how to be truly happy within myself and not depend and not put my happiness on other people. It's not fair. You can't expect others to make you happy. Of course, if they do, great, but you've still got to find that happiness within yourself first, I believe. Expectations set you up for disappointment. This carries on from my last point. If you expect something from someone, you're automatically setting yourself up for disappointment. Because if that doesn't happen, how are you going to feel? You're going to be hurt, you're going to be disappointed, you're going to be sad, all because you've had this expectation in your mind of how somebody should treat you, of how a certain situation should go. Enter situations, enter relationships without too much pressure or too much expectation of another. And I feel like naturally life will just have a way of expressing, of just showing you that as well. It's not necessarily something you'll just wake up one day and be like, okay, I'm not going to expect this from someone. No. But just be aware that the certain expectations that you have, they're not always going to be met, because not everybody has the same intentions as you. Goes back to point number 1. And motivation comes and goes. This is another big one. If you rely on motivation to get things done, you're going to be very disappointed. You have to learn how to have the discipline to tackle things without motivation. And again, this comes from like a fitness level. I really want to get myself to a certain place with my fitness and just that general healthy lifestyle. And I realised that I only fully push myself when I feel motivated. And I think everybody does that. You feel motivated to do something and you go for it, but when the motivation goes, you stop. No, that's not okay. Again, this leads into my next point, which is discipline is everything. If you're going to go through life thinking, okay, I'm just going to do this and expect good results, or I'm not going to do this with the full effort, that's a serious problem. You have to learn how to push yourself and be disciplined, and learn how to say no to those cakes. Learn how to say no to those sweet things. And I keep relaying it to fitness because that's my own personal journey that I'm going through, but it could be with anything. You have to know how to identify the things that are going to hinder you and the things that are going to hold you back from achieving what you want to do, and just knowing how to stay away from those things as well. Communication is key. Again, we all know communication is key. Like, I've learnt this as well within my own relationship with my boyfriend, my friends, my family. It's so dangerous for you to sit there and just build things up. You have to be able to talk about it, and it's so bad to assume stuff as well. You have to be able to talk about those things. But yeah, that's quite self-explanatory, I think. Everybody knows communication is key. Number 18, it's okay to say no. This goes back to during my teenage years, I used to feel like I had to say yes to everything and just to please other people. And it used to really stress me out because I knew deep down in myself I didn't want to go somewhere, or I didn't want to do something, but I felt like I had to say yes just to avoid that awkward conversation. So yeah, I think you get to a point when you realise, do you know what? My comfort, my happiness shouldn't be jeopardised to make somebody else happy. It doesn't work like that. And you have to be a bit selfish in knowing that it's okay to say no. If you're genuinely uncomfortable with the situation, if you just don't want to do something, just say no. It's okay. Like, it's not that deep. Number 19, you don't have to pursue a career in the degree you get. Now, I'm actually going to expand on this in another video where I'm going to talk about my university story and what that experience was like for me and how I got into the career that I'm in now. But it's true, you don't. I think a lot of pressure is put on kids who go to uni and do the degree that they do, and that they have to then pursue that career. Sometimes it's not even relevant. Like, you just don't need to do it. But I will go into that in another video. Number 20, my anxiety doesn't define me. I think I've said briefly before, I suffer from anxiety quite a lot. It's a lot better than it used to be, and I used to feel like it controlled my life, and it was who I was. It was who I am, but it's not. My anxiety doesn't define me. I refuse to let that have a hold on me or control me or get me down for too long. I tackle it now. I don't let it control me, but again, that's something I want to expand on in another video, just to really give you guys a picture as to how deep it goes for me and how much I've come out of that and how I tackle it now. I think it's something that a lot of people might relate to. And yeah, so yeah, I'll go into that in another video. 21, you can't please everyone. This ties into another point that I made earlier. If you go through, again, I keep saying if you go through life, but it's true. If you go through life thinking you can please other people, you're going to be very disappointed. There's always going to be somebody who has something to say. There's always going to be somebody who's not going to be happy with what you've done or what you've had to say, but that's fine. You have to know your truth and trust in that, and not allow other people's opinions to dictate how you feel, or make yourself feel like I need to put myself last just to make this person happy, because you're going to kill yourself by doing that. You can't please everybody, and that's just that. Again, it's okay to be selfish sometimes, so those two tie in together quite well. You have to acknowledge where you're putting yourself at harm or where you're making yourself unhappy, and where you're taking on other people's problems, or do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes I feel like, and again, I'm talking from experience, there's certain times where I've taken on a lot of people's issues, and not a lot of people, I don't know that many people, but certain people's issues and just their challenges that they're facing, and I take it on like to the point where I feel like I'm going through it. And don't get me wrong, I will always support my friends, they know that. I'm just talking from past experiences, long time ago. It's not anything recent, but ages ago I remember I used to just take on certain people's stuff, and I was just like, I feel really unhappy. And it got to a point where I was like, do you know what, I need to just remove myself from the situation and just take a step back, because this is seriously messing me up. And it was more of a mental impact it had. I just felt really sad all the time. I felt frustrated for those people, and when something starts to affect you that badly, you have to realize when to take a step back and just be a bit selfish and just be like, do you know what, I can't deal with this right now. I need to just take some time for myself, or you have my support, but I just want you to also realize how this is impacting me, and just make them also aware how they might be harming you. And it's not intentional. Obviously, people go through what they go through and they want the support, but sometimes they're not aware of how it can come across and how it can impact the other person that you're always offloading to. So yeah, that's really bad. I've actually repeated myself with one of these points. So I've put motivation comes and goes on number 15, and the same thing on number 23. Goes to show how well I am at proofreading stuff. But yeah, I do have another one that just came into mind, and that's know your truth. This is a lesson in itself, because I think I mentioned it previously just now. You need to know who you are within yourself in order to be able to stand tall and defend yourself, speak up for yourself, and just be comfortable in the decisions that you make. And it goes back to finding that happiness within yourself as well. Know who you are, know your truth. And when I say know your truth, it's literally about knowing how you've handled yourself in a situation, knowing how you've supported somebody, knowing how, I think it is literally about just knowing how you handle yourself and knowing what you stand for, knowing what your values are. And to me, that has brought a lot of comfort in how I deal with certain situations, or if somebody feels hurt by something, or maybe not by me personally, but just from a situation that they're going through, it helps me to kind of be like, okay, well, maybe you should deal with it like this, or maybe you should just handle this situation a bit differently. So yeah, know your truth, because that's what's going to keep you going. That's what's going to give you that peace of mind when you feel like, maybe this person's right, or maybe when you start to have that self-doubt. Know your truth. I've just said that off the spot, so I don't know if that makes any sense. And consistency is everything. Again, ties into discipline is everything. So is consistency. A big example of this is my boyfriend, actually. He is such an inspiration to me. The way he's taken on this fitness lifestyle and has absolutely conquered it, and the journey he's been on and how far he's come, it's so inspiring. And that's purely because he's had the discipline and he's had the consistency. I've seen how that really works on somebody, and it's not even just him. Like, my best friend is into her fitness as well, and I've seen how that has transformed her life and what that does for her. And it's just you see how dedicated people are. Even another one of my close friends, like, she is so dedicated to like being fit and just having that really healthy lifestyle, and you see the results. You see it because those people are hardworking, they're not lazy, they're consistent, and yeah, it's honestly so inspiring. And I've seen it happen in my life as well. When I was really good with my fitness and working out and eating well, I saw what that did for me. And not even just with that, but with anything in life. Like, I've seen what it does when you work at something and you continue to push yourself and to work hard. It makes a difference. So yeah, but again, I'm sure that's something everybody knows already. And the last one, life is too short. I said this already before, but we are constantly reminded that life is short. And when somebody passes away, when a celebrity passes away, or a family member passes away, or somebody close to you, you are reminded that it is short because they probably passed before their time, or at a point that was unexpected, or do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes death just hits you out of nowhere, and I think that's what it's a scary thought to even have, but it should also be a reminder to people that you should live your life to the fullest. Again, I know it's a cliche, but you shouldn't be limiting yourself. You should be able to take risks. You should be able to, I don't know, just do what makes you happy. You never want to look back at your life and think, I should have done this, or I should have taken that risk, or I should have done that job. That's actually one of my biggest fears in life, is to look back and think I should have done this and have all these regrets. It's not worth it. Do what you can now. I think a lot of us hold ourselves back because we're too scared to do stuff. And I even said before about taking risks. It ties into life is short, because it is. You're spending so much time procrastinating or fearful of doing something or holding yourself back. And for why? Again, what if tomorrow doesn't come? But yeah, life is short. But I was going to say, the top 5 lessons that I've learned are: everything happens for a reason. Not everyone has the same intentions as you. Live in the moment. Discipline is everything. And trust in the timings of your life. Those are definitely my top 5 lessons learned. I'd be interested to know what lessons you guys have learned, or if you can relate to some of the stuff that I said. I'm sure a lot of people can. Like I said, I'm sure a lot of this stuff is the cliche, so we've all heard it before. I just wanted to share my own perspective, and a couple of the points I will expand on in other videos. I just don't want to make this too long. It's long enough as it is, to be honest, but yeah, I just wanted to kind of give you guys some quick fire, or I say quick fire, they're not actually that quick, some lessons that I've learned at 25 years old. And so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry it's so long, but when you talk about something like this, it's going to be a long video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you will like the video, comment, subscribe if you haven't, and yeah, I will see you in my next one. Bye.